Kentucky X-Files Season 3, with your hosts Dennis Mays, Tyler Stewart, and Josh Gibbs. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also visit us at www.kyxfiles.com. And now, on to our show.
Oh, there is recording controls.
We got pause buttons now, don't we?
Oh my god, we can pause
We can pause?
and restart. That's going to be a bad one there.
Our editing is about to go through the roof in quality.
No. We're probably going to accidentally
We're not going to accidentally be perfectly fine. Nothing is going to be,
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Welcome back, guys, to your Kentucky X-Files. It was bad there. He had a mouthful of Pop-Tart.
Our favorite Pop-Tarts, I'm sorry.
Are they the strawberry?
I'm a cherry guy.
Cherry.
Okay.
Okay.
I like cherry. I mean, I don't hate strawberry Pop-Tarts. They're good. It's kind of like, remember the ones, the s'mores
Yeah.
Pop-Tarts? Remember that one? Like they're not terrible. I like them. It's just
I hate s'mores.
cherry.
Can't stand
What's your
marshmallow.
favorite Pop-Tart out there? Should email us and tell us. Tell us your favorite Pop-Tart.
Cinnamon brown sugar.
I like that one too.
Solid choice.
Yeah.
Solid.
I don't
I
hate any of them, except for
I do.
s'mores. They're a little too sweet.
I just can't stand fucking marshmallow.
Oh.
No.
All right. Is it a texture thing? Or are you against white fluffy foods? Because I've heard of this before.
Nah, I just don't like. I don't know. I guess it's just I don't like the marshmallow. I never was able to eat marshmallows, other than fucking Lucky Charms. I loved Lucky Charms.
Yeah, but those are barely
Is that
marshmallows.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that a marshmallow though?
It says
It's like
it
I don't
is, but it
Yeah.
doesn't feel
It's
like
not,
one.
yeah. It doesn't. It's yeah. I never thought they tasted like marshmallows.
I
It
was
just
never a
tasted
Lucky-
sweet.
I was never a Lucky Charms fan.
I've been
Yeah.
eating this one where it's like they take Fruity Pebbles and like the Lucky Charms marshmallows and put them together. Now that was awesome.
I like the non marshmallow part of Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
The plain
like
cereal.
those.
Like, why don't you just
Yeah.
eat Cheerios?
I love Cheerios.
Yeah, Cheerios are good.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. It's like, why did you
I
just
love-
eat Cheerios?
You know it's fucking hilarious though. Is I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna eat some Cheerios today because I don't need all this extra sugar. And then I proceed to put like a pound of fucking sugar on top of my Cheerios.
Yep.
Because that's healthier,
Right.
I add the sugar. Like, don't offer me sugar, okay?
Right.
Yeah, like when I was a kid with eating Cheerios and stuff, I always put the sugar on top, and then once you like kind of dig into it, it starts to settle to the bottom.
Yeah. And you
So
get sugar milk.
And then I was like, well, I'm like, I don't dig down and scoop up because it's all down at the bottom. That's
Mhm.
where you get like most of your sugar. So that entitled me like, oh shit, I don't have my sugar anymore. I guess it dissolved. Pour more sugar. Eat my cereal, and then now it's gone again. And I'm like, shit, I need more sugar. And I just kept doing that, and then by the end, I had like an inch of fucking sugar at the bottom.
And then
I'm
you
like-
straight up just drink that shit.
I don't know. I really liked Captain Crunch when I was younger, and I liked all the Pebbles, Fruity Pebbles, and Cocoa
Yeah.
Pebbles, and
Oh,
the Rice
Cocoa
Krispies,
Pebbles, man.
right,
Oh.
Cocoa Krispies and
Preach
regular Krispies.
Preach it.
Yeah,
Rice
and then,
Krispies is my favorite cereal of all time, hands down.
And then I also really liked cornflakes, but I liked to like cut up fruit and put it on the cornflakes.
Oh yeah. Slice
Oh,
of
man, you
banana,
bougie.
strawberries in there.
You bougie.
bougie's ass. My cornflakes literally said corn cereal and a white box of black letters. And we just happened to have some bananas.
Just saying, that's bougie.
You slice up your banana a little bit. You slice up your strawberries, you sprinkle them on there, give a little sugar, sugar on there.
Ooh, his voice is cracking. With it.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's back when life was magical.
Yeah, that's poor people food is what the fuck it is.
Fuck yeah, dude. But you were like, you looked forward to it. You're like, yeah. Man. Oh,
I can remember having that stuff as like a late night snack, watching movies and stuff.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. You know what I got burnt out on real fast when I was knife making for a living is oatmeal.
Yeah.
Every morning, coffee, oatmeal. Woo. After the first month, you're like, man, I sure wish I could afford some eggs or something.
Right.
Like, oh man, I'm ready for a change here. Nothing against oatmeal, but goddamn, after a while you get a little burnt out.
Let's kind of drive this towards what we're going to talk about today. So I guess you have another guest in your house here lately here.
Yeah.
What cereal does he like? Or she like, or whatever it may be. Do you have morning breakfast?
Knock the cereal off of the fucking table randomly, or
yeah. So it's not quite that sort of disturbance. And honestly, I don't think any of it's happening downstairs. So I don't know what sort of cereal they're into. Guys are putting me on the spot with this stuff. I wasn't prepared to talk about it yet, but that's cool. We can do that.
We're interested, and it's when you have your main guy on the show who's like rooted firmly in skepticism. When something strange happens to that guy, obviously we're gonna be all over it like flies on shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
like
that's accurate too. It's some weird shit has been going on around this place. I'd say over the last couple of years, it's been spread out. I think sometime around season 2 is when I told you about the weird apparition standing over the bed that I woke up to.
And I don't think we even talked about it on the show.
We didn't, because at the time, the little one I didn't want to spook her or freak her out. She was actually listening to the show. And now I think she's finally stopped listening. And she just supports
things.
Yeah. She's got an X-Files sticker on her car now. So, I mean, she's supportive, but I don't think she's watching, which is good.
She's on to that doctor stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got an X-Files sticker and a Rector sticker on her car. So, she's supporting. She just.
Yeah.
And if you're near the Northern Kentucky area at all, close to Cincinnati, I would say that you have a great chance of finding one of those stickers almost anywhere. They are all over the place. There's several good guys that I work with that have stacks of them that are just throwing them out everywhere they go. Much love to those guys. Sorry, Josh, didn't mean to derail you there.
You're fine. If I look derailed, it's because my mouse quit working. So
Josh's mouse is also possessed.
Yes.
So I can confirm this one.
Yeah. Yeah. You had a wrestling match with it and the keyboard last night. It's done. It's over with. New one should be coming. So I guess we'll back up to, what was that, a year or two ago?
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah. And I chalked this one up to like, when you're half asleep, half awake.
I thought you were about to say swamp gas.
Yeah, swamp gas. Yeah, it's swamp gas. When you have that kind of like delusional thing, how like sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and your chair with a coat on it becomes a shadow person or whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of chalked it up to something along those lines. It was just a lot more vivid than it should have been. Sorry. We were asleep and I woke up in the middle of the night, which I tend to do anyways. I don't think I've slept through the night in 20 years. Um, I woke up and I was facing the opposite way that I usually do, which is at the edge of the bed. This time I was facing towards the middle of the bed, towards Sam. And when I opened my eyes, there was a very clear image in my head, I guess, of like it was a female. I'm not sure of the age. I'd say somewhere between like 17 and 27, somewhere in that ballpark, just based on size and stature and the manner of dress.
Yeah.
That was standing right next to the side of the bed. What what stood out to me is that it was so real to me that I actually kind of like lurched back in the bed and was getting ready to be like almost in a fighting stance because of who the hell's in my room, you know?
Right. Yeah.
The other thing too was that she didn't have a face. That's what I thought was really weird. And I'm wondering why my brain decided not to put a face on her. She had hair about shoulder length. She was wearing bib overalls, and she had a striped shirt. It was like a light blue shirt with horizontal stripes that you could kind of see coming out the sides. Very 70s, early 80s in the manner of dress, I would say. You know, the style of the clothing. That's what it felt like. Kind of wavy, reddish brown hair, I guess. And after I woke up and paid attention to what was going on, and when I lurched back in the bed, that's when it sort of just kind of fizzled out, and it was like it went out the window.
You don't mean metaphorically it went out the window either, do you?
No, I mean, that's what I saw physically, was this thing kind of almost like a cartoon ghost in a vacuum cleaner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you think of like the old Ghostbusters movies or cartoons where like if they hit it with a vacuum cleaner, it was like, you know, like it would just, it comes to a point and just goes out. That's
so odd.
That's what I saw. That's that was the first visual of anything that I've seen here. And it's really the only visual I've seen here. Everything else has been auditory.
Yeah.
Just saying, I would have blown a hole in my wall.
Well, you got to remember too, when you're full blown skeptic, when something like this happens, the first thing you're thinking of is, why did my brain create this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my thought process on it is the reason it doesn't have a face is because I'd never seen who this person is before. Because your brain cannot create faces for people in your dreams. If you dream of someone and they have a face, you've seen that person before. Does that make sense? Like, it may have been in passing. They might have passed you at the grocery store. You might have been in traffic or whatever. But if a person has a face in the dream and you don't know who they are, you have physically seen them before.
Okay.
This person didn't have a face. So I don't know the logic behind it. I really don't. And I don't know if it was like, I can't remember even like if I watched a movie or something before bed, which I usually don't. Because it was a work night. So I'm usually not watching movies on work nights, you know, because I get tied into them and then I realize I'm up way too late, you know.
Was Sam disturbed by all this? Like, did she wake up? Was she?
No, Sam had no idea of it.
Okay.
She didn't even know it went on. So that particular event was just me. I was the only one that reacted. I was the only one that saw it. I was the only one that even, you know, knew it happened until I told anybody.
Yeah.
The auditory stuff, I'm definitely not alone in. Not by a long shot.
That's the recent stuff, right? Like that's has that been going a while?
It's been going a long time. The sounds that we hear sometimes in the house they've been going on probably since before that event happened. I would say maybe less than a year since we moved in. I always chalked it up to, you know, new house. You know,
Yeah,
new house,
old
new
house
noises.
Yeah.
Yeah, new house, new noises. It's an old house. It was built in the 70s. You know, um, so what leads me to believe that it isn't a haunting of the house of any type? First off, because I'm a skeptic. Second off, is it's the house was built in '78.
Yeah.
I'm the second owner, and
Okay.
I know all the people that lived here previously, and they're all very much alive.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right? I know the family well. Went from kindergarten to high school graduation with the kids. One was older than me, two were younger than me. So, like, I've known all of them. The mom and dad are still very much alive. They're not even that old of a family. I think they had kids young. So the haunting of a house doesn't make sense. It's not like this house was built in the 1800s and it's got a history or anything like that. So I don't know if there's something to do with the land or whatever. I've asked, I didn't have a chance to talk to them. They're not on social media, so getting a hold of them people, it's like, it's hard because
Yeah.
there's no phone service down here. So I'd have to do it at work. And if I'm at work, they're at work.
Yeah.
But I
get you.
have talked to people that used to hang out here all the time, and they've never said anything. I specifically asked a friend of mine that I've known since we were 5, who was best friends with the older boy that lived here, and nothing nothing was ever said about anything weird happening. Never mentioned anything. He never heard anything weird. The place was always just normal to them. So one of the weirder things that happens is the sounds with, like, we can be downstairs watching TV and we'll hear Leroy, my dog, jump out of our bed and run across the floor and then jump into Charlotte's bed. Sometimes we hear that with Leroy downstairs. There's been there's been a few occasions where like I'd be home on a Saturday by myself in the morning, drinking coffee or whatever, and I'd be sitting in my recliner, which you know where my recliner sits. It's right there next to the front door, next to the stairs going upstairs.
Yeah.
And I'll be sitting there and I'll hear it happen. And I go, "What are you doing, buddy?" Yelling up to the dog. And then I'll hear the licking noises where I just woke him up on the couch next to me, and he's peeking his head over the arm of the couch at me, looking at me like, "What do you mean? What am I doing? I'm right here." On a few occasions, he's actually heard it too, which makes it extra creepy when I hear something run across the floor upstairs and I look over and he's on the couch raised up going, with the head cocked, like, what the heck is that? Looking at the stairwell. That's happened a lot where all of us hear it. The event that you're putting me on the spot for, that you want to talk about, was what happened. What was this, last Sunday? Sunday night, Monday morning. This was fucking weird. This was really fucking weird. At almost exactly 3:00 in the morning, Sam, me, and the dog Leroy are in bed, out cold asleep, and we hear did that come through the mics?
Yep.
on the bedroom door. And when I say we, I mean it woke Sam up, it woke me up, and it woke Leroy up. All three of us heard this at 3:00 in the morning. Because I woke up right after it happened, and I kind of raised up, and Sam was on her phone turning the lights on. All the lights in the house we can control via our phones.
Yeah.
And when she turned the lights on, Leroy was in the floor next to her side of the bed, as far away from the door as possible, doing the thing where he's standing and his head's cocked and he's looking at the door, like trying to decide whether he's going to bark or growl.
Yeah.
And Sam goes, "Did you just hear the knock at the door?" I'm like, "Yeah, it woke me up." She goes, "It woke me up too. And I think it woke Leroy up." The kid had fell asleep downstairs on the couch. When we got up and we started checking stuff around, Sam went downstairs and Charlotte was out freaking cold, snoring, like deep, deep sleep
Yeah.
on the couch with some YouTube channel playing on the TVs. So it wasn't her. There's nobody else in the house. It was fucking weird.
That is weird.
It was really weird. I'd never experienced anything quite that loud. Like you hear
No.
little creaks and walks and footsteps and stuff every now and then. I've worked in old buildings for a long time, and you hear weird shit when you're alone.
Yeah.
But this one was loud. This one was real damn loud, and that's why I was like, I had to talk to you guys about it. I was like, man, this is some weird shit. I can't even explain it. I've tried to use my logical side of the brain to explain it away.
Yeah.
How, like I said, you get that part where you're half awake, half asleep, and you can get head explosions. People get head explosions all the time, where you wake up because you heard something boom, but it was just in your brain.
Right,
but
yeah.
I can't explain why the woman and the dog all heard it as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's one explanation is everybody heard it because it happened. You know
right.
What I mean? Like,
yeah,
it happened. It's just the root of like what knocks. Was it a courtesy thing this time? Like last time I just stood over his bed, so this time I'm gonna knock.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, who knows? And if you want to look up 3 knocks on your door, you get some absolutely absurd shit. So I spent the better part of Monday night looking that stuff up. And unfortunately, Christianity has hijacked the 3 knocks thing. And I'm not trying to be offensive to Christians here, but not everything's about you guys. So they say that the 3 knocks is a demon or some sort of evil spirit, and the 3 knocks is to mock the Holy Trinity, which really makes no damn sense. It doesn't make a lick of sense. Like, how is that mocking it? Plus, I'm not Christian, so like if it wanted to make fun of Christianity, it could have just walked in and we could have told jokes for 2 hours. It just doesn't make any sense. So trying to find any sort of information on it, it was really difficult. The one old wives' tale that we found was that the 3 knocks was the warning of death, because death comes in 3s.
Yeah.
So.
Now the death comes in 3s. I've heard that most of my life. In regards to a very disturbing thing, very disturbing. Whatever. I don't want to fucking drop. I just don't want to tease anything. I'm never gonna bring that shit up on the show.
Right.
But I've heard that my whole life. The death
I've
comes
heard
in
it too.
3s.
I've heard it too.
To an extent, I've kind of seen it, and it is weird. But I've always just felt like it was random. But I will say it is strange.
Yeah. I've witnessed that death comes in 3s a few times, but it's never like 3 people I'm close to. It's always like this person I know's person died, this person I know's person died, and then I know somebody that died. It's never like 3 people in the same family.
Yeah. I've seen it, especially living on a farm. I've seen it with animals, where something dies and then another thing dies and another thing dies in a rapid succession.
Yeah.
But I've always thought of them as synchronicities, or I might be saying that wrong. I don't know, but like, it's weird at the time, but they are at random.
Yeah.
Everything that I personally researched and reached out to a few old friends. Thank you. The faceless ones that stand over the bed. It's a succession. it's a succession of okay. It starts with a basically an uninvited visit.
Yeah.
It moves up to objects moving, noises, weird stuff. Um, the from what I understand, the progression goes to audible messages, voices in dreams, maybe in waking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, failing light, dawn, dusk. Those are the best times to capture audible, things like that.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
accurate.
I don't know what I don't know what the uh, what do you call it? The relevancy of that is. Like, I don't know why that is even a thing.
Yeah.
But
Well, everything's
uh,
scarier in the dark.
yeah, everybody I talked to seemed to be pretty divided in their opinions of it. Half of them were like, "It's a sleep demon. It wants to try to paralyze you while you're sleeping." Um, Other people are like, "No, it's a spirit. It's a spirit that could be passing through. They could be looking for someone who's willing to hear them out, or whatever. They're not content with what happened in their life. They want to get the message out or whatever. Nobody seems to have a definitive answer for it. It's just a lot of theorizing, but it's always been a lot of theorizing. I don't know, man. It's fucking wild, but I mean, it kind of harkens to uh people seeing the man in the hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The man in the hat, the fucking, you know, if you guys go back to a couple seasons ago and listen to the episode about delirium tremens, Eric's encounter with whatever it was a faceless being.
Yeah.
It was void of detail, but his story is weird because it follows two separate timelines, or not two timelines. It follows two separate plots that are like ongoing together in it, and I find that so interesting. Like on the one side you have your rapid detoxing, which throws the body and mind into just a
Yeah.
whirlwind,
Oh
to
yeah.
say the
Yeah.
least.
Yeah. So
Underselling it.
delirium tremens is an absolute motherfucker to go through.
Yeah,
You'll see some fucking weird shit on delirium tremens.
yeah. So you got that side, but then there's the other side where it's like he was having full on conversations with this. You know what I mean? I mean, from what I researched, was a lot of people who go through the DTS, they remember some of it, but they lose a lot of details in coming out of it. It's like a trauma to the brain. So it's like your brain doesn't want to hold on to it.
Right.
And the fact that he remembered so much in vivid detail, like, I don't know if he actually saw a demon or whatever it was, or spirit, but it is interesting. You know, this stuff. See, again, I always try to assert this because I'm not some spiritual person. I've never been.
Right.
I feel like this shit is a natural part of our world. That's why you never hear me really go into this shit. Like, I don't really find the mystery in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All throughout nature, we know for a fact that nature wastes nothing. Everything gets used, except for plastic and styrofoam, you know, or mostly styrofoam. But I'm saying, like, nothing gets used or wasted. Everything gets recycled and renewed and used for something else, and it's always moving. And I'm like, man, we are the only life form on the planet that's we start our existence and end our existence in more or less sentency. We are aware of ourselves. We are aware of time passing. We know that yesterday happened. I know that I wrestled with Josh's fucking wireless mouse and keyboard all night last night because that happened and my brain can compute time.
Right.
I know today I'm up, I can hear my rooster crowing. I'm aware of things because I am aware of the world around me and myself. So to come up and be alive and to be aware and to understand things around you and to be able to tinker and learn things and save and knowledge. Why would you go through your entire life saving knowledge and learning things? It should only be that we retain survival instinct.
Right.
If there's absolutely no point to the energy we create and consume during our lifetimes, we should only be concerned with eating, sleeping, reproducing, and finding a good place to take a shit. Nothing else should matter. There should be no spiritual debate. There should be no contemplating of the mysteries of the world. There should be none of that because cut and dry science. That's it. But now we, especially over the last couple of years, we're starting to understand that the world we perceive, the universe we perceive, is kind of a lot different than we thought it was. We're finding out that shit in physics doesn't necessarily work everywhere else. Well, we're also a different type of life form on this planet. Yes, we share common ancestors with other life forms, but we took a whole different path. So for me, like I said, I don't believe in magic. I don't really think supernatural stuff is out there. I think it's perfectly natural. And I do think that with the different perceptions of dimensions that they talk about, two-dimensional living, three-dimensional living, which is us, fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional. I think it goes up to 12 or 13 now. I can't keep track with this, man.
Wow.
Physics guys need to fucking literally start cataloging. They've pretty much said that if there's fourth dimensional beings or creatures of any sort that are fourth dimensional, yes, they can interact with third dimension. Just not vice versa. We can interact with fourth dimension because we're a three-dimensional being. We're a three-dimensional organism. And you have to wonder, I mean, if the math checks out, if those different dimension thing, if they exist, like they claim they do, what better way for something to pass in and out? And is our life just us preparing to evolve to exist in the fourth dimension? Is it like a cocoon, do we go through this life learning what we can and understanding as much as we can so that we can pass into that fourth dimension and continue living on a higher plane or whatever? Some people might call that heaven or hell or purgatory. I don't know. Some people could be so disturbed by it when they pass through that it could twist them, which I feel like that's a good explanation for evil entities or demons. Just a shitty dude or woman that was shitty in life and they continued to be,
Yeah.
I don't know. So for me, I don't know. I don't feel like there's a big mystery. I feel like weird shit happens, but I just don't think we understand everything yet. I feel like we're learning as we go. So it's I feel like in this subject, especially, I'm definitely not a skeptic. I've had too much weird shit happen at this point. In this regard, I can't. I'm not able to be skeptical on everything. Like some stuff, guys with the big gorilla suits, some stuff I could be skeptical about, but the paranormal haunting stuff, the weird synchronicities, stuff like that. It's hard for me to be a skeptic on it just because of my own personal experiences.
Right.
I've I've talked to several people about my own story and asked them, "What is it? What was the point? What was the point?" Because I still to this day feel like there was no point. Like it didn't do anything for me but fuck me up.
Right.
So I know everybody has their opinion. I've had people reach out and say, like, hey, it was a good thing. It was to help you along. It was to help you become who you are. All this, like, that's great. Thank you. But from my point of view, I don't feel that way. When this shit happens to you, you're like, I can't help it. I don't know how you feel, Josh, but like, was there a part of you that heard this knock and the next day you were like, what the fuck was the point of that?
Yeah. I mean, that was that night. I was like,
Yeah.
why? Fucking why?
Yeah. What's the point? Yeah. Is it just to fuck my sleep up? Is it just to cause unrest? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Did it repeat? Has it repeated?
No.
It hasn't repeated.
No.
So you have to wonder. It's like,
I haven't heard anything weird since.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't make a lick of sense to me. Hell, I mean, we might have perceived it as a knock.
Yeah.
It may not have been a knock. Maybe there was something going on outside that we heard. It could have been a car going on the road backfiring or something.
Or fireworks going off, maybe.
It could have been fireworks.
You know what I mean?
Who knows? We're way out in the country, man.
Yeah.
So big fireworks at a distance aren't going to sound like booms. They're going to sound like pops and clicks and knocks.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of shit that it could have been, I guess. It just, I don't know. It doesn't make a lick of sense to me. I'm not scared. The shit doesn't bother me. Hearing some weird stuff in the house, it's like, okay, whatever. Pay rent, fucker, if you're going to stay here.
Right. I had interesting things like that happen at the old house. I remember things pulling my towel off of the hanger on the shower. I would be in there taking a shower and I'd turn around and grab my towel. I mean, it was right as I was going for the towel. And it was folded evenly because I don't want to pick up a wet towel. I don't want to have to yell, can somebody bring me another fucking towel? I don't want that.
Right.
And I go to reach for it and it's literally goes whoop.
Yep.
And
I remember you telling me about that.
Remember saying, like, if you're going to act like a fucking child, I'm going to treat you like one. I don't care that you're here. I don't give a fuck. It's fine. Stop fucking with me. And of course they didn't.
No.
But from that point forward, I felt like I was begrudgingly, like, I'd hear shit or see things move and I'd be like, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Now, see, and that's what it is around here. Like, if you hear noises in the house, we just have that. Oh, well, so if it is some sort of entity trying to scare us, it's not fucking working.
Yeah. It's basically like, it takes a while, I think, for them to realize they're just wasting their time.
Yeah.
However, I did have friends that came over and weird shit did happen to them. I got to see firsthand a buddy of mine I remember him going to open a door, the basement door, and the fucking basement door yanks out of his hand and slams shut. And dude, he just turned white. I mean, he was white as that, dude. Like, it was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's sitting here telling me, like, he's like, dude, what the hell is that? I'm like, I don't know. It's fucking